GP Brazil was supposed to be Ferrari's chance to recover momentum. Instead, it ended with 2 broken cars, 0 points, and a rare public rebuke from the company's top man. John Elkann didn't hold back. Talk less, focus on driving. A short line, but one that revealed how tense things have become inside Maranello. On track, Lewis Hamilton fought chaos from the first corner. Contact with Carlos Sainz at turn 1, followed by a collision with Franco Colapinto, left his car missing over 30 points of downforce. After a 5-second penalty, Ferrari retired him on lap 37. Charles Leclerc, starting from third, looked set for a podium until he was taken out by Oscar Piastri and Kimi Antonelli after a safety car restart. His suspension broke instantly. Leclerc later wrote that only unity can turn this situation around in the last 3 races. Hamilton, meanwhile, described his first year with Ferrari as a nightmare and vowed that he will not give up. 2 different tones, same pressure. Elkann has spoken, Vasseur has defended the team, and Ferrari stands at a crossroads. So is this the start of a rebuild? Or proof that Ferrari has lost direction? Stay until the end as we unpack what's really happening inside Maranello. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into Formula One's most complex politics. The collapse in São Paulo was not an isolated disaster. It exposed Ferrari's structural strain. The team now sits 4th in the constructors' standings, overtaken by Mercedes and Red Bull. A double DNF would sting any organisation, but when your chairman publicly calls out the drivers, it turns into something much larger. Hamilton's season has been full of frustration. No podiums in 21 Grands Prix, 6th in the championship, 66 points behind Leclerc. "It's a nightmare," he told Sky Sports F1. "The dream of driving for this amazing team has flipped into the nightmare of results we've had." The statement sounded less like self-pity than a warning of how draining this transition has been. Leclerc's response was calmer, echoing collective accountability. "Only unity can help us turn the situation around." It was diplomatic and deliberate, a tone Elkann publicly rewarded days later. His interview with Italian media praised the engineers and mechanics, but then drew a line. "We have drivers who need to focus on driving and talk less." He cited Ferrari's World Endurance Championship triumph as proof that unity, not individual voices, brings results. Inside Maranello, the context was obvious. Hamilton has pushed for organisational change, quicker decision-making, clearer accountability, and a less hierarchical working culture. Essentially, the Mercedes model. But some senior engineers resisted, seeing that as intrusion. Elkann's public comments were his way of siding with Frédéric Vasseur and the technical department over the drivers. Vasseur defended both men in the aftermath. "It's been a very tough Sunday," he said. "With Charles, we were in a good place. He could have fought for P1 or at least the podium. With Lewis, he lost 30 to 40 points of downforce from those early crashes. Calling him to retire was logical. He wasn't wrong. But it didn't mask the sense that Ferrari had let another strong weekend slip. The dynamic is familiar. Ferrari's hierarchy thrives on loyalty and order, while Hamilton's career has been built on influence and trust." When Elkann said, "talk less," it was a corporate correction aimed at re-establishing authority. The risk is that it isolates the very driver brought in to elevate standards. Leclerc's position is safer but also strategic. His words of unity align neatly with Elkann's vision, strengthening his internal standing. Statistically, he's been the better performer. Politically, he's now the dependable loyalist. In contrast, Hamilton's reformist energy looks disruptive, necessary for progress, yet inconvenient for tradition. Ferrari's car remains the other half of the story. The SF25 shows good qualifying pace but poor consistency. In Brazil, it lacked adaptability in high degradation traffic and lost balance quickly once damaged. Elkann's praise of the engineers was justified. Pit stop execution and incremental upgrades have improved, but the car's fragility still exposes Ferrari's chronic issue, translating progress into race results. Culturally, Ferrari still operates top-down. Authority flows from the president through the team principal. Autonomy at driver level is limited. Hamilton's attempt to import Brackley-style openness naturally collides with that system. His critique of efficiency might be valid, yet to Elkann it sounds like disunity. That friction is what the talk less message really targeted. Both perspectives carry truth. Hamilton's call for evolution is grounded in performance logic. Elkann's insistence on discipline protects institutional order, but Ferrari's inability to reconcile those mindsets creates the same paradox that's haunted it for years: heritage versus adaptation. The morale cost is visible. Mechanics and engineers find themselves praised by the chairman but overshadowed by political tension above. Drivers feel scrutinized, even when mechanical faults are to blame. Vasseur, caught in the middle, has to manage egos and rebuild competitiveness simultaneously. Public criticism from Ferrari leadership rarely ends well. When Luca di Montezemolo rebuked Fernando Alonso in 2014 for negativity, the partnership collapsed within months. Hamilton's case differs. His contract and stature give him leverage, but the echoes are unmistakable. Ferrari recruits champions, asks them to adapt, then punishes them when they challenge the structure. Still, there are signs of technical progress. Elkann was right to note that the engineers and mechanics are basically winning the championship for their precision. The SF25's qualifying form shows genuine pace, but consistency remains elusive. The task now is to separate the technical from the political, a line Ferrari has always struggled to keep. Hamilton's remarks after Brazil hinted at that awareness. "It would be wrong to say there are no positives," he told Viaplay. "If you look at Charles's performance in qualifying, it shows the car does have some pace, but we are just really having to fight through those hardships." That was an attempt to stabilize the narrative, a veteran's instinct to protect morale while under scrutiny. Leclerc's shorter message carried the same purpose in fewer words. "We'll give it all, as always." It was professional, safe, and consistent with the company line. In Maranello, silence can be the smartest statement of all. Heading into the final triple header, Ferrari trails Red Bull by 4 points and Mercedes by 36. The numbers tell only part of the story. What matters more is whether the organisation can agree on who leads the rebuild. Elkann's confidence in Vasseur suggests continuity, but Hamilton's influence will depend on how much Ferrari allows him to shape its culture. That's the crossroads Ferrari now faces, between evolution and conformity, between the urge to modernise and the instinct to protect tradition. The internal debate has gone public, and the Brazil fallout has made it impossible to ignore. So as Ferrari prepares for the final stretch of the season, the real question isn't just whether it can regain second place. It's whether this team, divided between authority and ambition, can finally learn how to let both coexist. If you've got a different take on Ferrari's situation, whether you think Elkann is right to demand discipline or Hamilton deserves more freedom, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you see this power struggle playing out. And if you want to stay ahead of every twist in Formula One's biggest stories, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming.